What's up, guys? Today's speculation is going to be a little different because we have no real idea of who the character is. The character I'm talking about is the guy with the horns. They're like these two little, it's kind of like a hat, and he has like these like horns on them that kind of fold this way. And he's holding a book, which I'm actually anticipating is possibly Necronomicon. Dracula is here because he looks a lot like Dracula for some reason, kind of like a more animated, that kind of version of him, instead of like more of like this humanish real appeal they were going for this artwork. He kind of looks like, straight out of an anime, typical vampire character. It's possible that, in my idea, I think that the character, it's shown at the 1 minute mark in the trailer, which I'll have in the description, and it talks about in that moment the time wizard that, like, the Primogenitor has as like his servant, and the 12 apostles. And I don't think he's the time wizard, because if you look at a clip right before Kaguya appears, around the 1 minute and 12-second mark, there's a glimpse of this guy who has like a long beard and like an hourglass in his hand. And I feel like if anyone was going to be the time mage or whatever, it's going to be the guy that's holding the hourglass and that's like old. This guy does have like a book, so it does seem like maybe, you can like cast spells, maybe some time spells. But I'm leaning a lot more towards him being it's possible that maybe he was like Dracula's maker or something, or like a revived Dracula. So it's quite possible that the Primogenitor either revived Dracula and gave him Necronomicon or some kind of other book, or that it's just one of the other like clan member people, that kind of like Sylvia and Blazer, how Blazer is, minion of Primogenitor, and then she's clan founder. They both work for the Primogenitor, and it's possible that he's just like the third one in the set. So like A1 had Blazer, A2 would have Sylvia, and then A3 would have this guy. Because it is confirmed that he's the second picture of the insert, and all 5 of them are rulers. Originally, my idea was that the little kid would be the Primogenitor, and the adult guy with the horns I'm talking about now would also be the Primogenitor, but it would be like the ruler side and the J ruler side. And I was thinking that the time mage, the old man with the hourglass, would maybe kind of be like the J activate cost for the little kid would be like pay 0 only if the time mage entered the field this turn, and then that way you can like essentially summon the time mage and he makes the little boy into the adult version with the book. I thought that was actually a really interesting concept and would be a really cool way to kind of introduce J activating. And if he was a demon, the time mage anyway, if possibly, I don't know why he would be, but like specifically, like if he was some kind of card that we have a search card for, because there is a search card for demons in the TAT set, it'd be kind of interesting to see like you can even search him out to make the J activate a little bit less situationary, instead of just playing 4 and hoping you see it, and maybe mulliganing heavy for it or whatnot. But in the Q&A that Jordan Blanco did, he did confirm that all 5 of those inserts are rulers. So our 5 confirmed rulers are the Kaguya, which we already saw. My speculation on it was really incorrect. I thought it was going to be, well, I did say it might be like with Campanilla and Moon, so I think I got that right. But I really thought it was going to be a 6-age ruler. And I still think it's possible, though, as you can play Moonshades and Moonlight so openly now, that she can possibly still be the next best ruler for 6 ages in general, but she doesn't link with them in any possible way. And so we have Kaguya, we have the one I'm talking about now, who's the guy with the horns, who I'm anticipating is either like a revived Dracula, or maybe he's like the person who turned Dracula into Dracula, like the person, that like every vampire is like bit by someone or whatever. Maybe he somehow turned Dracula into Dracula in the past, because the blood moon or whatever is associated with Dracula quite often, and the return of it's kind of coming right now when we see a lot of like red moons and all the new arts that we see. There's also kind of like the return of like the pale moon, regular moon that we see for were-rabbits. So it is possible that because it was linked with Dracula, that is just kind of like a remake of Dracula, or he's coming back, or it's his dad. I don't know what the possibility could be. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be the 3rd minion, and I'm pretty sure its effect is going to be something like your red stones produce black, or maybe your light stones produce black, because it is like the Twilight set or whatever. Or I'm not like the Twilight as in Twilight Wander, but we do see a lot of like good and evil, and you normally see that, but like Kaguya is white, and Primogenitor is possibly going to be like darkness. This guy can possibly be the fire ruler, and it'll say fire stones you control produce black. And then because there's also like a little void dark moon kind of shown in the picture, in the trailer, at some point. I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it's right after the 1 minute mark as well, or right before it shows him. But that can kind of specify that like the black moon is coming back. And we've seen that the black moon is a moon that kind of was the start of all the Cthulhu's. So maybe there's gonna be like a rise of the Cthulhu's again, which would make more sense for him to be like producing black for red, because then Cthulhu's would be like a lot more consistent. Blazer was able to make red for any of your stones, so of course you could just play black and red with Blazer. But he was kind of made to like kill J rulers and stuff. This one could just be your red stones produce black, and then that way you can play red black, but in a totally different means with all these new cards. And then his J activate cost might further help that kind of play style. Maybe it'll like have to do with incarnate cost or something like that. That way they can use that as an excuse for reprinting two colors that can essentially play the same things but with different reasons behind it. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be color fixing, because we've seen that in both Blazer and Sylvia. What I'm really kind of iffy about now though is in the Q&A with Jordan, he did say that like there wasn't going to be too much focus on moons, and then all of a sudden like moons are a huge deal because Kaguya uses moon. So it could be that he just didn't want to spoil too much when he said this as well. But he said that the 12 apostles, I think, don't quote me because I'm pretty sure this is what I heard, but I kind of just like glimpsed through the Q&A really quickly because it was like 2 hours long. But he said that the 12 apostles don't specifically have their own ruler. Somebody asked them like, oh, my husband's working on this 12 apostle deck, and he's excited to know that, he can add the new ones coming out and possibly have like a ruler for it. And he was very kind of like, oh, well, they're really big bodies and they're really clunky, and it's not really going to work to have like this deck around them, and almost made it sound like they're not going to be any specifically relevant with the Primogenitor as a ruler. Kind of like how you can say both Kaguya's 1 and 2, even the new one, for example, those three, of course, are associated with were-rabbits, and we see were-rabbits a lot with association to Kaguya, but Kaguya doesn't specifically say like, oh, were-rabbits cost 1 less, or were-rabbits this, were-rabbits that. The closest thing we get is like the servant of Kaguya who's a were-rabbit who gets boost for treasuries. So it's possible that like the Time Wizard and the 12 Apostles help the Primogenitor, but he's not essentially linked to the 12 Apostles in any possible way. It could just be like his minions and like the lore, and you don't actually see it reflected in card effect. So that's kind of a bummer in a way, but I'm also actually really happy about it. A bummer in the sense that it would be great to have a 12 Apostle deck because that sounds absolutely amazing. But then in the same sense, like, if his effect were to be something like you can pay 1 color less of each color for them instead of being 1 void less, that way you can like churn 1 Ziz or something, because he's normally 2 green, so 1 void less wouldn't do anything. But his effect could have possibly been something like you can pay 1 light, dark, red, black, or I feel like I said the same one twice, but essentially you can pay 1 of any color less for a 12 Apostle. That way you can always summon any of them 1 turn earlier. I kind of feel like that would be a little too much. I mean, a churn 3 Phoenix is extremely powerful, and a churn, not to mention if you were to like to have the like possible like mana fixing for it to like pay the void cost as well. Like, not that I feel like you would run green in decks like that, but if you somehow made like a green deck and it's like, oh, it costs 1 red less because of Primogenitor, and then your Elvish Priest pays the void cost for Phoenix, and you like churn 2 Phoenix, and it's a 9/9 with flying, and it blows everything up that early game. I feel like that would just be really unhealthy for the game and kind of too much to have to deal with. I feel like it would also make future card design a little bit harder, unless I'm just maybe speculating that it's a little too strong, too much. But I fear that it would be almost too good to have these big bodies, because it's not essentially the fact that like, oh, their effects are so great and stuff, because I feel like they're pretty balanced. I think it's more of just the sake that like even Sylvia, when you deactivate Sylvia on really early in the game, if you can kind of like mana ramp or discard like an Excalibur or Leviathan or whatever, when she enters the field and destroys something and then starts swinging, it adds this amount of pressure where it's not like, oh, I'm not worried I can't get rid of her in general. It's like I can't possibly get rid of her in time before she kills me. And I feel like that's what the deck would become. It would be the sense of like, I'm going to drop all these 12 apostles, and because it's so early game, you're not going to have any kill spells open, or you're not playing a proper color that has kill spells, and so I'm just going to like beat stick you to death, and there's nothing you can do. It has nothing to do with like my effects actually taking off or controlling your board or any actual interaction between my 12 apostles. It's just like, you know, I have a big body, so like attack, attack, attack. So I'm excited and not excited about that. They might make it into an interesting way. It might just be you can pay the color cost for 12 apostles with any color. That I think would be really cool. If they somehow made like a way to make them cost less without it being overwhelming, and that was the case, that would be actually really amazing. You can play like maybe like not like a 6 age deck, but like Beat Stings and Elvish Priest to like kind of ramp and then pay that color in any way to summon them. That would be kind of cool, because then at least you can like argue that, you know, if they're using Feastings and Elvish Priest, you can kind of kill those cards and then the ramp won't happen, and you know, you can essentially fight halfway at what they're trying to do. But if it's just like, you know, the ruler does it and they're just dropping all these things really early, it's going to be too overwhelming. So let me know what you guys think about this. I really want to know what your thoughts are. I will have the link to the trailer in the description below. Remember, it's at the 1 minute mark and the 1 minute and 12-second mark. I'll put those probably in the description as well as the link to the page where it shows the inserts, because a lot of people, I feel, don't understand that those are the 5 rulers for sure. So we have the Kaguya, the Tree, the Primogenitor, the Songstress, and this one, the guy with horns, that's probably going to be the third clan founder, or somehow related to Dracula in my opinion. Possibly revived with Necronomicon or given Necronomicon, I don't know, but I think it's going to be really interesting. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. If you liked the video, give it a like and make sure to subscribe, and I'll definitely catch you guys next time.